Hey, what's
Hey,
up, you guys? Welcome back to Joey Plays Games. We're here for another episode of the Loki review. Joey, take it away.
yeah, thanks, Ronnie, for introing the show. We're here on episode 17 of Joey Plays Games podcast, and this week we're talking episodes 2 and 3 of the Loki TV series on Disney Plus that premieres each and every Wednesday for 3 more weeks. So yeah, we're sorry we missed a week, but yeah. Last episode was excuses. That episode's not even up yet. I edited it. It will be going up probably tomorrow morning. But none of that matters.
Busy.
We are here today for friendship and talking about this show with so much glorious purpose. But before we get into the show, I want to start the show as we always do, and I want to welcome back my co-hosts to this fantastic podcast. We've got Nikki, who's in the kitchen getting ice cream because he needs to wake up a little bit, and then we got two friends joining me from via the lines of the internet, Ronnie
Yes.
and Owen, who's poured himself a nice little glass of wine to enjoy as we sit and have some friendship. So, damn, Nick, what are you
Joey,
doing
the
in there?
mic quality is really good on your side, Joe.
Thanks. It's because it's just right here. So I'm hoping it sounds right.
Yeah.
I'm watching it slowly deep into the yellow. That's coming real close to the red that I get a little concerned, but I think I'm probably okay.
At least on Discord, you sound
Yellow is
fine.
mellow, dude.
So let's
So
start.
what's on the agenda today, Joe?
We're gonna do episode 2 and 3, and then we'll get into a little bit of the news at the end. There's been a couple things we can talk about. There's been a video game that's been announced that'll be coming out this fall for the Guardians of the Galaxy, and we got a new Shang-Chi trailer, or Shang-Chi, I believe is how Simu is saying it should be said. So we're gonna go with that. And then let me think off the top of my head. There's been a couple small things. We'll see where the conversation delves, but. And we'll do a little update action on the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer prediction, or trailer watch, as we like to call it. Good God, Nicholas, it's been
Prediction.
2.5 minutes that you were in the kitchen and you still have not finished getting your ice cream. He can hear me.
Oh,
and he's
it
just
takes you
ignoring
that
us.
long to get your ice cream, Nick?
Oh, I hope
To be
he's
fair, Owen,
I
it
hope
took
he's
you-
smiling in there right now. It took
To be
Owen like
fair-
4 minutes to go pee and get a glass
Yeah,
of
to
wine.
use the bathroom. Wait, can Nick hear us?
Yeah, you can. He's got the earbuds in.
Oh,
He's trying.
Nicholas, come on, hurry it up. Get
He's
over
trying
here.
not to go. Oh, you got to show the camera this. Show the camera this action. A little bit of this. A little bit of this.
Drops the camera into the ice cream.
Got a little bit of. We got some chocolate sauce, some vanilla ice cream action.
Joey, give Nick the daily hug of the day. Come on. Nice little side hug.
Oh my god.
A little bit of that action. All right. So
Brotherly love.
yeah,
No,
It's-
just a little Falcon hug. You know, it's like,
I'm not gonna touch you. Relax. You've saved a
only
rabbit
real
today.
ones will get that.
You're
right.
you're cool. Do you want to tell everybody that story?
I saved a rabbit today.
Oh yeah.
It was stuck in a pool. I got it out.
Oh wow. That's always so scary. They always look like they're frantically trying to save their own lives, but they can't. Good job.
He
Nick.
Good
he
Samaritan
did the most video game thing I've ever seen him do in my life, though. So you know
Did he
those
jump in there?
no,
You know they
you know
did
the
that in
pool
the
the
first
pool
episode of
deck
Sonic
chairs
X,
that you
too.
just lay. Owen, stop talking about Sonic. We're telling this story about a freaking rabbit that was drowning in a pool. Yeah, that's what I thought. So all those pool deck chairs that've got that the little L line thing. He lined
yeah.
those up along the door to the gate. He cornered the rabbit and then slowly poked and prodded at it with one of the pool nets to move it along, and then it ran out into the woods.
Dang.
It's the most video
was so
because he took a picture of it,
all
and
the
it's
puzzle solving
all these chairs just lined
Chairs
up, and I'm like, that
lined
is the
up.
most video game thing I've ever seen him do.
I was really smart though, honestly.
Facts. It was genius, but it was still
You're welcome, Nick.
It was still really funny. And then I've also decided for Halloween, I'm going to become Captain America. Starting today, I'm
Yeah.
going to the gym almost every humanly day until Halloween
Halloween.
Holy shit, blood.
And
Now, are we
Nick should be
talking
Nick. You should
Captain
be
America with
Bucky.
the beard or without?
with the beard.
Nick, you should
That's
be
the plan.
Nick. You should be
Okay,
Bucky. You
good.
should amputate
Let's-
your arm and get a metal one.
Well, I don't think you need to amputate it, but you could definitely get a little hand painting
You
action.
can't tell I've started the beard growth too,
Interesting.
Chin strap.
for like the third time.
Interesting.
I haven't shaved in 2 weeks and it looks better than yours.
Oh, damn.
I haven't shaved in like 4 days, so
Oh, 4 days, 2 weeks.
My
Dude, you still have better coverage than I think you do, Nick. All right, let's stop talking about beard growth and get into Loki episode 2, which I think is probably one of my favorite episodes of the show so far, including episode 3.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
I think episode 1's still my favorite, but episode 2 reached pretty close.
Yeah, I think
I like episode 2. It was a good, solid.
it had
middle
some
episode.
really good moments. I need to rewatch 3. I was thinking about throwing 3 on today because I think I came down a little hard on it after my initial watch. But everybody, let's go around for a second, give a little thoughts on episode 2. I want to start with Owen. Where are you at with episode 2?
Yeah, it was a solid episode. Great, even. You know, it established some stuff for Loki. Then you know, obviously, in like the whole apocalypse thing was really pretty cool.
I thought it was
Nice little
funny as hell.
development.
I thought it was awesome. It was
I thought it was hilarious.
very clever.
Pompeii.
Yeah, that's what we
They're all
have.
gonna
We
die.
That was
They're all
funny.
they're all gonna die.
we have that as our background today. So or at least
yeah?
for this part, I'll change it in once we get to episode 3 talk. But yeah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't stop like thinking about the stupid Bastille song when that scene was on.
You know, I don't know. I don't. Whenever I think of Bastille and Pompeii, I don't know why, but I have this very vivid memory of like middle school, and I remember John. He was talking to you, Joey. John, for some reason, he was like, "Yeah, Joe, I'm like like I listen to alternative music. Come on, Joe, I don't listen to the popular stuff. I still
Yeah, I
listen to like
remembered that.
Pompeii by Bastille." And then you were like, "John, that was like popular 4 months ago." I was like. That I don't know why, but that I wasn't even in the conversation. I just heard it. That was the funniest freaking thing I've
Yeah.
ever heard.
Bro, we had
That
so
was
many good
so
times with that man's. He's thriving though out in Ohio.
He is.
Which is great. Ronnie, what
All
did
right,
you
episode 2.
think of episode 2?
Episode 2, I thought it was a very solid episode. I like the ending. I like the kind of the aspect they played, like the aspect of like the whole apocalypse thing that Owen mentioned that they played around with the episode. You know, Loki figuring that out, being a little detective. It was nice to see. It was kind of like so far. It was the only time that we've actually been able to see Loki and Mobius be kind of like that buddy cop kind of style that everyone was looking for. And we got a taste of that in that episode, which I kind of liked a lot. So that was cool.
That was good.
I like the philosophical questions that they had with Loki and the Mobius about like what the TVA stands for, what do they believe in, what don't they believe in. I like that aspect of it, and obviously just what was it, Alabama in 2050, that whole apocalyptic scene. That was really cool to see. I just like the kind of like a thriller-esque moment in that, and I also like seeing how the TVA treated people in these kind of apocalyptic scenarios because it kind of paints the TVA in a what's the word, kind of apathetic light. Like where like these people are scared that they're gonna die and they don't give a shit, you know? They don't care. They're like, oh, they should be scared. They're gonna die anyways. It's like I don't know. I liked a lot of the what it did for the characters that episode, and also just for what it did for the rest of the story in general.
Yeah. Nick?
Yeah.
It was a really good episode. I think it's they somehow get a great contrast between making jokes, but at the same time they can then switch into questions about identity and it not come across jarring. It's like, yeah, they're of like free will and choice. I phrase that as identity, but like they're able to make jokes and then that they can switch a beat and they're going into questions about like, so is there free will? Do anything we do actually matter? Or religion of like how Loki's questioning Owen Wilson's character about, isn't it crazy that you wholeheartedly believe that these three magical space lizards created you and everything that was here? And he's like, yeah. And is it crazy that you are the son of Odin with brother Thor? You were adopted from frost giants, and you can do magic. So I think this is doing a really great job of being both a Marvel show, but also kind of having those deeper questions that the Marvel shows have been covering so far.
Very ship of Theseus.
Yes, the ship of Theseus. Yes. Good. Oh, we got to talk about that too. Remind me at the end.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I saw it. I saw it today.
Thing?
Well, all right. Well, let's talk about it right now. So in case anybody hasn't seen, Disney Plus added a different ending scene to WandaVision's finale. The end credits scene has changed ever so slightly. There is now what many fans are calling an astral projection floating down the hill in the forest, floating toward the house, and the colors are a little different. And then in the end credits, when the credits roll, Doctor Strange's theme is credited. So they're assuming that those two are connected, that it's Doctor Strange's astral projection going down toward the cabin and getting ready to have a little sit down with Wanda, telling her all the crap that she's done is bad or something like that.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, that was cool to see today.
I just saw it like an hour ago. I was like, dang. I didn't believe it at first. Really? And then I scroll and I see another video talking about it. I was like, okay, so it's probably real.
That's insane.
Yeah, because what I think is cool is that they actually put the time in to go back and do that, to make that the canon version of the ending.
Yeah, see, that makes me wonder, what can they do if they want to re-edit things now in terms of their timeline, or like if they want to change something, like retcon things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like fix the small continuity errors with dates and stuff like that Feige's talked about.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Very interesting.
It makes me wonder if they're gonna, because at least the one website that I saw that was talking about it, it was like Wanda's messing with the timeline again. That I wonder, in the lead up to Multiverse of Madness, are they gonna go back and tweak different things? I think that could be a cool concept to play with, that I'm wondering if...
Oh, I get what you mean. Yeah.
If that ever gets fully formed, because at least the writer in me thinks about how you could hype something up naturally with just having fans going back and accidentally stumbling upon it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool. We'll be on the lookout for more Multiverse of Madness and WandaVision updates, I guess is the word to use. All right, but back to Loki episode 2. I think this is probably my favorite episode of the show so far, or at least it may be tied for 1 and 2. I think the Alabama 2050 and the Pompeii apocalypse things were awesome. The Pompeii one is so cool for just the comedic beats to it, but I really love the Alabama one for its setting and it's the tone that it has with it. It gives me very much Last of Us Part 2 vibes. Ronnie, if you know what I'm talking about, from the water and going through those abandoned areas type thing.
Yeah.
It makes me want to go back and play the game. But Nick
I've been wanting to play that. I wanted to play it again like recently too.
Nick just looks at me like,
so
you really want to do that to yourself again? And I'm like, kinda. Just want to go back and play through it on Grounded.
When I finished the game, I was like, dang, I want to play that again. But then I was like, dude, that took forever, Loki. I mean, it's long.
It took me almost 35 hours to finish that.
Yeah, it took me a good minute. But it was a good game, man.
It's a solid game. I like the core mechanics to it as well. So it's a fun game for me to play, but the story has so many good moments, and I love how unique this story in particular is compared to the first one. That it makes me want to replay that one more than the first one. It's such a gorgeous game. That
Yeah. One thing that I like about it, it always takes me back to when you and I would run the Predator missions in
yeah,
Arkham. When I try to do every mission as stealthily as I can for as long as I can until I just break and just start going in.
yeah.
But those are always cool.
That's how my hospital thing went. When you're breaking into the hospital, I literally
Yeah,
tried
yeah,
to go as
same.
long as humanly possible, and then it's the same way the demo of that went for the state of play. That the second it breaks, you're just shooting everybody, and you're down to like your last 2 bullets by the time you finish the encounter, and it just feels so satisfying that you walked away with your life. And Nick's just sitting here like, man, I didn't really like this game that much.
I enjoyed.
Oh, we didn't.
No,
Classic Nick opinion. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I enjoyed the game, but that's not just it's not a game I would go out of my way to play for fun. Yes, I'll play it for the story, which was admittedly it covered some deep stuff, but like I play games mostly for fun stories of
I wonder
or
what you're
fun
gonna think
times.
about Ratchet.
I don't have an interest in playing that.
Did you like Spider-Man PS4, Nick?
Yeah,
Okay.
but like there's
I wonder. You should try Ratchet.
okay.
Play it for an hour or 2.
You know what?
Yeah,
I want to do a podcast. If we don't have a show to talk about, I want to do a podcast called Nick's Top 10 Games of All Time. And
I'm down.
I'm very interested to see
Dude,
Nick's opinion.
Most controversial episode.
No, I think Nick had probably some pretty good picks. I just want to hear them.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I'm just,
today is
totally
Loki.
fine with it, mate.
Platinum in it, dude. Then
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think Nick's
I
played
think
a Pokemon game.
as Nick was talking about, the philosophical things that they bring up is really cool. They got a bunch of good moments with Mobius, which makes me miss Mobius in episode 3.
Yeah.
So good.
Owen Wilson just brings a great element to the show that, that the comedy beats and the questions and the pairing of him and Tom Hiddleston is so great that when we switch in episode 3, it takes some getting used to. That it starts to hit his stride by the end, but it still doesn't feel like it's completely hit the stride.
it's like kind of weird until like.
But we'll save that. We'll
There's
talk
a
about
lot
that
of
then. But
Walking
yeah.
on a green screen.
I think
Yeah.
I warmed up to it when they were on the train.
Yes.
When they were on set.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, definitely. By then, that starts to work. But we'll talk about that when we get there. So I guess for episode 2, let's each person pick a moment. And we'll kind of just talk through it a little bit. I want to start with Nick. Or do you have to think for a second?
Mine would probably be as they were going into the store, of someone that pointed out on the internet, and I just enjoy it. Of like it's raining and thundering, and Loki's looking up, and then why do you think Loki's looking up? Because is used to what comes after his brother. So I just thought it was a
That's
real.
a throwback to a line in the Avengers too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where Loki's sitting on the Quinjet, and I'm not overly.
I'm not overly fond of what comes next. Yeah. So, even though it may not be purposeful, I'm making that my fan canon. So,
Ronnie, what do you got for me?
Well, one add on to Nick's. One thing I thought Nick was gonna add on was that cheeky little scene where Loki comes into the store all wet and he just kind of magics himself dry, and everyone's like, "What the hell did you just do that?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to be wet." But one of my favorite scenes.
I'll be squeaking.
Yeah, I think I liked seeing Loki kind of play detective. Like, there's so many good scenes in that episode. It's between the TVA going into the store and kind of disregarding basically human life and like its emotional aspect of death itself, but and also just the Sylvie reveal and stuff like that, and also just the ending. But if I were to pick one that's a little bit more unique, I guess, I like the aspect of Loki playing detective and kind of going to his own files and searching up Ragnarok, kind of learning about that by himself, and then kind of having this hypothesis like, oh, if we go to an apocalypse and we change something, then nothing actually changes because everything is gone, everything's decimated. So I really like that scene because it kind of gave me a glimpse of what I thought more of the show is going to be, and maybe it still will be. These Marvel shows, they always come back to it somehow or another, but I really like that kind of like I said, that buddy cop-esque style between him and Mobius, and I feel like that was a very good pivotal point where you could see that.
True.
Owen.
Oh, dude, oh my god, I just left my mind. Oh my gosh.
All right, well, I'll give you a second to think about it.
The Pompeii scene,
Oh,
dude.
okay, there you go.
Yeah, the Pompeii scene, dude. That was hilarious. Also, like the whole part of him researching all that stuff, I thought that was like just a very good scene. You know, had a little bit of character development with the Ragnarok stuff, but then it led right into like the apocalypse thing, which I thought was a pretty clever place to hide and stuff.
Yeah, I think
Pompeii scene was hilarious.
yeah, it's just a really good balance of philosophical questions, comedy, small character moments, and then big payoff at the end. For me,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's gonna suck, but we're all probably gonna pick the same moment. The ending to that episode is so cool. Just the set piece of Nick talks about, the walking into it, what Ronnie talks about, the comedic beat as he walks in the door and uses the magic to clean himself, and then the way they intertwine the reveal of Sylvie and how she's possessing different characters all the way through in this little thing. And there was a little battle, and it kind of works differently, and their banter back and forth that we get to see more of in the next episode. And then the reveal at the end, and then everything goes red, and then the timeline gets bombed, and then he follows her through, and then the episode cuts. Like the last 10, 15 minutes of that episode are really good, and it's really enjoyable for me.
Oh yeah, that was.
I love seeing the panic in the TVA when they start seeing all these freaking branches just going like spiraling directions.
It reminded me of like any space movie where you cut into mission control and then something's gone wrong and everybody's freaking out, and it was just it's awesome. All right,
Just such a good episode.
Really good. This is the one out of everything we've watched that I think I'm the most excited to go back and watch again. After it's all said and done, and not because the first two shows weren't great in their own right. It's just this has what
They've hit their Marvel stride. They're hitting their phase 2 stride.
I mean, I don't agree with that, but
Okay.
no, because some people don't like this show. I mean, I've seen people like Paris Lilly on Twitter talk about that, how he's not enjoying this one as much as he enjoyed the first two, but I think this is.
I'd say I enjoy this more.
Yeah, I mean, this show is right. This show is right up my alley in particular. With its philosophical questions, playing with the multiverse, different characters, and especially, I mean, we're only halfway through. We're gonna hit some. There's still 3 more episodes that I think are really probably. There's gonna be some bangers in there that I think will probably overwhelm where the pilot and episode 2 are in my rankings. That we'll talk about probably at the end of the show, but. I think the first one is so much about Wanda's story post Endgame and setting up where she'll be at in Multiverse of Madness that it's a very good connective tissue that I'd be very curious to see watching Infinity War, Endgame, WandaVision, then Doctor Strange 2, and how that all flows together, where this just feels like it's a self-contained story, that it's playing off the events of Endgame, but it doesn't feel like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's not central. It's just Endgame. We're picking up. We're not following the legacy of Captain America or having this large exploratory thing of grief. That I'm curious of how Hawkeye's going to play into that later this year to see how it mixes those two elements. But we'll see. So from there, let's get into a little bit of episode 3 talk. Let's go around as we did with episode.
Wait, real quick, before we go on,
Okay.
I feel like one thing I wanted to add to what you were saying about the Loki thing. I feel one thing I like about the show that kind of like goes off of what you were saying is the fact that, in a weird way, we don't really know what's gonna happen to this Loki. and all the events of like what's gonna happen after his like yeah, I guess we can have our hypotheses, but it's odd because this isn't technically our Loki per se. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not our continuum's Loki where we left off. It's not like we're following a character from where they left off. It's a brand new Loki, I guess you could say. And I guess having that uncertainty of where his journey may lead, I feel like is the cool part about watching the show too.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many. I talk about it with one of my coworkers at work all the time. We talked about it the other day because he finished watching episode 3 and he thought it was cool. I didn't want to be as negative as I probably will be on the podcast, but I was like, I feel like there's so many opportunities that if this show wanted to do a season 2 or a season 3 and just keep introducing Lokis, and there's a version of that it could be what for the Flash the Council of Wells is, or for Rick and Morty the Council of Mortys, or whatever
For
that.
what in Marvel Comics is the Council of Reed Richards.
Yeah, it's the same thing where it's the idea that there's every version of Loki is so different, but how they all interact with each other, it provides its own unique story in its own right. The same way that the Spider-Verse comics, not the movie, do their own thing with that, and the Deadpool comics do that as well. That I feel like this is a really cool place to pick for the live action media to really start touching on it. That of course we're gonna get way more in depth for the rest of this year, and probably from here on out on the Marvel side of things. Sorry, didn't mean to touch you. I know you don't like it when I touch you, so I'm just gonna stay over here on this side of the couch. Yeah, we need a little barrier. It's the Great Wall of Nicholas no touching.
Dude, I thought you were just about to throw the blanket over Nick.
You do that.
Just like cover up, just like.
Yeah, what if we just keep it there and it's like the Red Hood, and just throw him up and he just
Nick talk. Nick say something. Nick say something.
Talk through the blanket.
Yeah,
Ooga booga.
Oh, it actually works very well.
Yeah, it's not that
Pretty
sound
good.
dampening. All right, let's get into a little bit of episode 3 talk. Let's start with Ronnie, who seemed, at least from how we've hinted at it, seemed to have come out more higher on that than the rest of us, I guess. Maybe Nikki.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I would
I
definitely.
mean, I don't
say it's
think
the
any of us
weaker the
hated it, but
three.
I think it is weaker.
Yeah, it's definitely the weaker of the 3, but I don't. You seem to be very adamant that you have your opinions about it. I personally am not too opinionated about it. I thought it was just a solid episode. It felt kind of more like a setup episode, whereas the last 2. Well, I guess every episode has setup, but in terms of the last 2, I feel like we had some kind of resolution with that episode and what happens with whatever's going on in the episode. Like, say in the beginning of the first one, we kind of get established with the TVA, what he's going to be doing there, where his journey's going to go. Second episode, we're looking for this thing, this variant. The variant accomplishes its goal. Cool. In this one, we're like, okay, we're stuck on the planet. Let's get off the planet. They don't get off the planet. So it's like, it just kind of leaves you. It's kind of like a WandaVision ending in a weird way to put it, where it's like a big cliffhanger and you don't really know where you're going next. And it has its pros and cons to that, but I feel like what it's really there to do is set up Sylvie's character. So, like I said, feel like a very setup episode. If I were to pick a favorite scene, I'd probably pick the train scene when they're kind of just talking, getting to know each other better. And she falls asleep, and then we see Loki kind of having a little Asgardian fest. Also without his disguise on, let alone that
Yeah.
too, so. That was
That's
probably
definitely
my
a highlight
favorite,
scene.
Yeah, my favorite scene was the whole train scene. So, but particularly when they talk, fall asleep, wake up, talk again, and then he says the whole dagger thing, and then boom, they're fighting. But yeah, setup episode. Your
Yeah.
guys' thoughts?
Nikki, I want you to take it here. Just gonna shove it real close.
I agree that it was a setup episode. I'm sorry, it's really distracting. It's right in front of me.
Is it better if it's
Go,
here?
lower it. And
better if it's
speak
there?
into the mic.
My brain.
Speak up.
My brain is not working.
right.
I can't.
Owen,
coherent.
go ahead. While his brain reboots for a second because he's a robot. The ice cream froze him. Owen, do you got anything for us, or are you frozen too? The wine's kicking in too early.
it's just me and Ronnie. I feel like we really agreed.
You're on the same
stuff.
wavelength here.
Yeah, like that train scene when they're just getting to know each other, dude. That was definitely the best scene.
Are we doing best scene?
Afterwards,
I think it's a little bit of
Yes.
both. We're getting to half an hour mark that you're just kind of combining.
just talking about it. I mean,
Okay. Well, I think my favorite
Just
scene
think
was
the,
Sylvie's. Oh, sorry, Owen.
I don't know. The final scene, that whole city.
Yeah,
shit
that
was
whole
pretty cool,
way,
too.
dude. I love the way the final scene was shot. But Nick, you can talk before we go into that.
Ronnie, refresh your mic real quick, but Nick, go ahead.
I would say it was Sylvie's introduction to the TVA, of her being like, "Oh, well, my magic doesn't work. All right, I'll just tie up my hair," and then just beats the
That scene
living
is- that
daylights
scene is-
out of everybody. So I was like, "All right, bet I like you. You seem aight."
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good. You were just
Yeah.
you were starting to get to that point where it started to bug a little bit.
Yeah.
What did Nick say?
Nick said
You
his
didn't refresh
his favorite scene was the intro to Sylvie as she's walking through the TVA and realizes her magic doesn't work and then just beats the ever living crap out of all the TVA guards.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It would be either.
No, I
that-
It's
totally
a solid scene. I
forgot that
totally
scene.
forgot about that scene too.
Dude, that was
Yeah, same. I
so
was like, I
long.
totally forgot that. In my head, the first thing I remember is them being at the planet when it
Yeah, same. Yeah.
when everything's going down. I totally forgot about the intro scene. Holy shit.
That's kind of where the episode really starts. I mean,
Okay.
the main chunk of it.
It'd be either that or the.
Nick, thoughts on the overall episode, Nick?
I thought I think the problem was pacing. They did a
can see
lot of
that.
exposition
Yeah.
on
Yeah, that's-
when they
that's a
were
good point.
walking, and you couldn't tell they're on like the 3D projected screen set thing. And I'm like, all right, it looks good, but it doesn't look bad, but you know what it is. And it's like,
Yeah.
this it comes off as slow when you have these, and it also seems like it's a forced slow because it's like, why were they kicked off the train? Why did they have to? Why couldn't have they gotten all the way there, and then Loki mess up while they're there, and then they have to go back in, or like they get kicked out of the city? Like,
Yeah.
why it doesn't seem probable of them being kicked out on like off the train and then them walking all the way to the city only for
Yeah.
them to be able to get into the city, and then like why wouldn't the train just bring them there, then like get thrown off there, and now they're outside, and then they have to like sneak in, and then as they sneak in it blows up.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it just seems like the pacing just seemed off, but overall I enjoyed the episode.
It was the shortest episode so far, and I feel like what Nick just said kind of reminded me about something that I was thinking about when watching it. There was a lot of times where I was like, this feels very exposition heavy, where it's just them talking, like you said, Nick, like it's just them talking. And I can't remember which instance of it, but there was one instance where I literally could I was listening to it going like, holy shit, they're just saying everything to me. I feel like the other episodes, they had a lot of exposition, but a lot of it included also showing us. Like with the Pompeii pacing, not only are they telling us, but they're also showing us what he needs before they actually go to, Alabama and test out what they actually need to test out. So, yeah, I can agree with you on that. It's very exposition heavy, and they kind of just delivered it by blurting it out to the audience. But I feel like maybe that's a thing. Like you said, the pacing. It is the shortest episode. Maybe they had to do that. Maybe they couldn't figure any other better way to do it. So, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
I think following up on that point, because Nick and I actually talked about that after the episode was done. We went through and looked at what the longest MCU episode was, and it's the Falcon Winter Soldier finale,
Semi-finale.
or the episode 5, which was an hour and 1 minute, or an hour even. Hour 5. And this was 30 some odd minutes, right? 30 some odd minutes.
Was like
Well, obviously the shortest one is a WandaVision one, but this is 42 minutes.
28-minute long.
This is 42 minutes, while the
Wait,
episode before was 54 minutes.
there's 6 episodes in the Winter Soldier. I thought there was only 4.
6.
Dude, what? There's 6.
what, bro?
You completely forgot what the first
No,
one.
I'm just I'm just thinking 4 for some reason.
Because the back 4 were
Seems
so
like
good.
That makes more sense.
But yeah, it felt to me like where exposition has really excelled in other shows and other MCU properties is when the dialogue is fun and catchy. And this didn't feel like it was fun and catchy till the train scene. It just felt like Sylvie was being antagonistic just for the sake of being antagonistic. And the best way that Nick and I talked about this was comparing it to Bucky and Sam, where their relationship up until Falcon and Winter Soldier and the back half of that is they just kind of go at each other. Like they're in the same friend circle, but they kind of don't like each other, and they just kind of have that weird banter back and forth. But it works because that's the state. And then
They're dynamic.
when you evolve to the end, the payoff when they're finally buddies by the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, it works. Where this, it felt like it's setting up their relationship, but it's zooming through it, and there's a little they're trying to hit these moments as quickly as possible by having them be these long extended scenes of dialogue, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like the train scenes, both parts of the train scenes really work,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
them
that's what I was
having
gonna
that
say.
talk sitting out on the rock, half of that works as well. But yeah,
I think the least best part of the exposition kind of spew was them kind of trying to get to the train or like figuring out what the hell they were gonna do. And then when they were like that last half of them walking to the city after falling out of the train.
yeah.
But like you said, the train scene was like when it was just them sitting down and kind of having like a heart to heart.
But that's still 25 minutes of that episode. Like that's still the vast majority of
Really?
that episode for me. I mean, it could be 20 minutes out of the 40, but that's still
Really?
that's a lot of time that I feel is not no.
A lot
The
of filler.
intro's 5-ish, maybe 7. That's still 15 to 20 minutes, at least in my rough math.
Yeah.
But that's probably why I came down on hard as I did when I walked out of it. Not walked out of it, but when the credits
You
rolled.
walk out of the theater.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. I'm so hyped to be in the theater twice in the next 2 weeks. But I felt underwhelmed, and yeah, I think we probably should talk about his gender fluidity.
Ending? Oh, I mean, I kind of already knew that going
That was
in. The
orientation.
one thing I did like,
Orientation. You're right.
I mean, that
A
and
bit of
that.
both. I mean, it's a bit of both. But
I mean, if you're counting like it being Lady Loki, if we're not, because there are the theories out there that it's not actually a female variant of Loki, but I kind of think they're just gonna stick with it and give her a different name. But I like that because I feel like I've known that for a while about Loki. I feel like we've all known that if we read if you guys have some comic knowledge of it. So it was nice to see them finally confirm that in this, and I liked how they didn't kind of make it. They kind of just made it like it was always there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You just drive like yeah, here and there, both a little bit of both.
I
Like,
think
have a conversation.
I think the line worked for what it was, but I think then the big overwhelming reaction online of it being this big moment wasn't exactly, at least in my mind, not what it was, because it was just
I
like
think it was more or less the celebration of the inclusion of some character or the confirmation of it.
no,
the
yeah,
mass.
obviously that's an important moment to have a big character in the MCU come out as that, but it was still, I don't know. Obviously, very cool
In
moment.
Norse mythology, he fucks a horse, so I don't know why we're surprised.
Yeah, I mean, Loki's a trickster. You know? Loki's got no preference.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it. I just hope that it's not one of these lines for the sake of having it, and that it's just kind of never explored ever again. I would like to see them
I don't think it's
eventually
I don't think it's
explore
necessarily that.
something. But I mean,
get
you
what
never
you
know.
mean. I get what you mean, and I agree with that. But I feel like the beauty of it is kind of just letting everyone know that it's true. It's always has been.
Yeah.
And you just have to know that, you know.
I feel like it would be nice that it's not just a verbal payoff. That I feel like it would be nice to eventually see something in that. Whether it, I mean, it could be him having a relationship with another man, or him having a relationship with an alien, or whatever it is. That it's just like to see that, but they haven't even really leaned into relationships that much in the MCU to begin with. So you never really know where that's gonna go.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The closest we have is like Paul Rudd and
Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly,
And
Thor. I guess we'll see
Vision,
come Thor
Natalie.
4, but
Wanda and the Vision, dude.
Wanda, and then
WandaVision,
Pepper and Tony,
Pepper and I,
and then
They've kind of have some
MJ Peter.
okay, but it's not this. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not the Dark Knight
The race
trilogy
track?
where Rachel's at
There's a
the center of
decent
a lot
amount.
of
What
it.
are you talking about?
Huh?
We got Peter and MJ.
Not towards the most recent stuff, but there's actually been a ton.
Well, obviously, there's romantic components to a lot of these movies, but they're not at like. Not the forefront. You know what I mean? You go read a Spider-Man comic book, or you go watch a.
I mean, yeah.
You go watch a
They're
thing, or not watch a thing that's
pretty
so
important.
The
undescriptive.
closest thing that has been about a relationship in the MCU was WandaVision. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3, kinda.
That was
But
yeah,
not really.
I can see that.
Huh?
Yeah.
Spider-Man Homecoming kind of was.
It's a bit, I mean, it was a bit of both though, because
All from home.
they're together. He's dealing with spouse dealing with it,
I
Homie.
guess.
Not really that.
I see.
and then
I think
her
Homecoming
experiencing
definitely
trauma
was
and then
not that
bonding
far
and healing
from
together over it.
Homecoming, nah, that was just like classic high school crush.
I
thing.
like how we're just talking over each other. It's great. This is what a
Yeah,
podcast
but
is
she was,
supposed to
like,
be.
Involved in the thing.
I
Yeah.
just hope that
She was
that
involved
MJ's
with
not
both of
swept
them,
under the
so-
rug in No Way Home under the Spider-Verse element of it all.
Oh yeah, same. There's just so much going on.
Yeah.
So,
I want to see it with Kristen Dunst, and
Emma Stone?
Zendaya,
oh
and
yeah,
Emma Stone. Emma Stone back from the dead.
Wait,
Yeah,
she's supposed to be in it. I don't know how.
MJ.
Huh?
no, wasn't she a different
Spider
character?
Gwen.
Who?
Is she?
Wasn't Emma Stone not?
Gwen Stacy? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your point?
I
Yeah,
thought
they
we were
killed
seeing
her
the
in the
MJs.
second Amazing.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
My
we were talking
brain's-
about
my
MJ's, but
brain's
yeah,
slowing down.
it's okay. You're good.
All right. So what else is next?
I don't know. We got sidetracked.
I kind of want to talk
we
about
all talked about the train. The train is dope. The fight scenes are dope. The way they get onto the train is cool.
the humor is dope.
Them
The
having the
story
conversation
that's
about
dope.
their past is cool. The Asgardian drinking scene, all dope.
That was hilarious.
I like that.
Ronnie, I want you to talk about the final scene because you were talking about how
There we
you
go.
enjoyed that.
I liked the way it was shot. I don't know. I don't
It
think
was
it
a
was
one
one
take.
well, like it was okay. I was
It
just
was.
making sure
There was no
if I
cuts.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
It just
'cause
felt like the
a
most
one take, but I didn't
uneventful
wanna
one
say
take
anything
that I've
wrong.
ever seen. But yeah.
I liked it though, just because
Forget the last.
I like seeing. Maybe this is a very childish take, but I like seeing all the cool colors kind of happening as they're
Yeah,
kind of
I mean,
around.
That's
That
what it
was the best
felt
part.
like to me.
Visually,
Am
it's
I
very
wrong with
visual.
that though?
No, that was not.
Boil it down, Ronnie. Say, ooh, pretty colors.
But I also like that scene where
They were on a
I don't.
stage.
I know there's theories about it. I don't know if it's the time stone that he stole or something that people say he stole, but I don't think he did. It's just I think it's just Loki powers when that whole building's falling down on them.
I didn't put that together.
Oh, dude,
I didn't
that
see
scene
that
was
theory.
cool.
I
That
just
was
thought it was a
really
Loki
cool.
power.
I thought it was Loki powers,
Yeah,
but there are theories
same.
out there that he stole a stone or kept some stones with him because he thought it would. Be
That would make a
useful.
lot of
Stones.
sense. Okay, because where I was gonna go after this is how do we think he gets out? Because I had like 4 or 5 different outcomes and none of them made sense to me. But it all felt like it was gonna be a quick. None of it. Not that it didn't make sense, but it felt like it was. It felt like it was gonna be the MCU convenient of, here's how we pull our hero out. You know what I mean?
I just
Where it's
think they'll
not
try to
consequences
keep it
like Infinity War.
what they've already established, or try
Well,
to break what they've already established.
this show where it works in that realm of the show, but it's not like Infinity War where consequences stick. You know what I mean? But yeah, Ronnie, tell me how you think they get out of this. Sorry, I totally cut you
I
off
don't
and
think- I don't
spun
know.
off on a
What,
different
the
thing.
planet or the whole series?
The planet. They're stuck on Lamentus. How did they get out of Lamentus?
Oh, easy, Joey. Classic Marvel. The TVA comes in and arrests them as everything's being destroyed.
So someone's watched the trailer for episode 4.
Huh?
Oh wait, is that
There's
the
a
is that in the
trailer?
trailer?
Never mind.
Trailer?
There's a trailer for episode 4?
Or promotional.
Where? Oh, I don't want to go look for it.
Exactly.
It's not worth it. It's
Well,
that's really what it is.
Nick just confirmed.
Is that
Nick
really
just
what it is?
confirmed I'm
They end up
correct.
back at the TVA. I don't know how they end up back at the TVA, but they end up back at the TVA.
I got it.
That
I
was
did
like
it,
the
Joe.
least-
What's gonna happen?
That was the least
There's gonna
coolest
be a
thing out of
third
my.
Loki
Oh,
showing up.
I don't know.
Well, I love how I said that.
damn it.
I love how I said that.
Except this
I
one
love.
is like a little like a little puppy dog kind of.
I love how I said that, mocking the classic Marvel kind of just. Oh, it happened, and then Nick's like, "Oh, so you saw the thing?" I was like, "No, I didn't see the thing, Nick."
Oh, damn it. Because I was like, I know Kang the Conqueror is going to pop up. I was like, what if Kang the Conqueror pops up and takes him out, takes him to another Loki
Joey's
thing?
going the Mephisto route.
No,
Joey's going the Mephisto
he's been
route.
cast. He's in the show.
I know.
Jonathan Majors is in the show. He will be back in Ant-Man Quantumania. He's
Joey,
in
he
here
was already
somewhere.
there. Joe, we already saw him. He's a big wooden statue behind Ravonna. What's her name? Slayer?
The judge.
Dog.
Yeah, well, that's her.
He is.
Dog. That is not. No. We are going to see Kang the Conqueror at some point in the show. I just don't want it to be too late.
Should I spoil more things?
That he's not in the show? Are you going to. Do you actually have a spoiler? Are you trolling me right now?
Dang.
I can't tell. You've got your good poker face on at the moment. You don't got anything, do
This is a
you?
spoiler for
Do I?
zone.
You don't have anything.
Okay.
You don't have anything. You're so full of it. I hate you. I hate you.
Dude, don't
Do you
spoil
actually
it.
have
Don't
something?
Be like Matt, spoiling everything.
Say yes or no,
Everything.
Nick, but then don't say
Every
anything.
show.
I spoiled one thing, and I didn't.
Did they end up back at the TVA? Well, we figured that. I mean, anybody could have told you that one.
Yeah, I didn't know that was such a big thing. I'm sorry.
It's not, but that was just. I thought that would have been eventually the end up back. They get out of it in like episode 5. They end up back at the TVA with
I
Mobius.
know that they're back at the TVA at some point.
Yeah,
in the next
Owen Wilson's
episode.
not going to be in only 2 episodes.
Yeah, so I
It wasn't that surprised.
Yeah.
I was hoping that it wasn't. They just get pulled out.
was it. I don't know if it's just that
Yeah,
they get pulled out.
it didn't sound like what you were saying
Then why did you reacted as if I did say
because it sounded like you had seen something that just made it. That's
Did
what
I?
it was. I hate you. I hate you. You're playing devil's
Yeah,
advocate.
I'm gonna call it now. They're gonna get caught from the TVA, and they're gonna have a Falcon and the Winter Soldier esque breakout scene, and then from there on, I don't know what else to predict. But they're gonna have one of those, hopefully. They're gonna convince Mobius that it's all a lie, it's all bullshit, and then he's gonna run away with them. It's
Well,
gonna
yeah,
be a trio.
because everybody in the TVA is a variant.
Yeah, which is another huge moment.
That was kind of just blown.
Yeah, that
over.
was actually a pretty cool thing.
So yeah, we kind of just missed that, didn't we?
They don't
It's because
know
Mobius
that.
wasn't there, though. You know what I mean? If Mobius is there while they're having that conversation, then it's got so much more weight. But instead, it's a key that's going to be used later.
I know,
in a
but I
different
think that's
conversation.
why the pacing came off. Mm-hmm. Weird, because it's like, why are we, that was dialogue, and then we went. There was no. It was like, what? But they don't know that, and then you move. You're like, what? You move on. Like, whatever.
I feel like we probably should.
Sorry, Nick.
We
I'm
shouldn't
sorry
steer
that the
across it too much.
exploding planet didn't take its sweet time to explode. It's like, no.
Wait, what? Did I come off the wrong
No.
way?
No, I was saying,
He's
I'm
kidding.
sorry that the exploding planet didn't take its sweet time so
He's
they could have a
joking.
deeper moment of that. I'm making
He's
a joke,
making
man.
fun of you. He's pulling his Zack Snyder. Explodey.
I'm just hugging your chain.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't
I'm sorry, my brain is.
Yeah, I know.
my
You're
brain is-
you're tired. We're getting to Nick's. We're getting to past Nick's bedtime.
Guys, let's just face the facts. This is probably gonna be the worst episode in the whole series.
Yeah,
Just saying.
probably.
I mean,
Because now they've already established Sylvie's relationship. The relationship with Owen Wilson is already established. So it's like,
It's time for Kang the Conqueror. I'm kidding.
how far do you think you can shove that up your mouth?
Hold on, hold on. One thing I don't want.
throat.
One thing I don't want. I don't want a WandaVision Falcon Winter
I muted the
Soldier.
mic back.
You have to fight a big bad at the end as ending. I want the ending to not have someone that I don't want them to be fighting someone at the end.
Yeah,
Like,
I
one
want the
specific ending.
ending to literally be them walking into the timekeeper's office.
I
And
want
it's
the
just
ending to
that
be them
it.
walking.
Cut the black.
I want the ending to be them walking into Doctor Strange's multiverse of madness, like a big shot of just madness going on Earth.
you like you. I think that probably
That's actually pretty likely.
like yeah. It's like they don't
And it
fix
just ends
anything
there.
at the end of this. They maybe fix the TVA plot line of like these are, as Sylvie called them, time fascists, but in terms of the actual timeline, multiverse, everything, that's still fucked. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want that to be the last shot, and I don't want them fighting someone because Kang can be in there, Joe, but I want him to be in there for no more than 10 minutes.
Total? No more than 10 minutes total. Okay.
No more than 10
that's
minutes.
a
I
character
want, I
you
want, I
don't
want
want
them.
to be
Appearance.
overusing.
I want them to really
That's a
tease us
character you
for
want to
Ant-Man.
introduce, though.
Yeah, but you don't want to. But you're not,
It's a character that's got a lot of meat on them bones.
exactly. But you want to.
How you said
It's Ant-Man and the
but
Wasp.
imagine
Don't-
he's
yeah.
introduced so thoroughly in this though that it's just he's that he exists as an entity by the time Ant-Man and the Quantumania.
I don't think there's enough time to.
There's still 3 whole episodes, and we've already talked about how the timeline may change.
To be
That
fair, yeah,
this
to be
may
fair
be
to
the first
Joey's
really
point-
long episode.
To be fair to Joey's point, the last 3 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier did more for the whole series than the first 2, if not the first 3.
Yeah,
It was a
Okay.
heavy fan.
I'm just saying he's a.
we still have 2 more Lokis that we haven't seen. We have Old Man
What do you
Loki
mean,
and
Joe?
Mayor
We
Loki.
That's
That's promotional
Brazilian
material.
soccer player Loki. No, I'm playing.
We have troll looking motherfucker Loki that's huge and ugly. All right, guys, have you heard about the Guardians of the Galaxy game? What'd you think
I
about
heard
that? Did you
about
watch the
it.
trailer?
I didn't see it. I saw like
Yeah, I saw
promotional
the
images.
trailer.
I didn't see the trailer.
Man, Nick's now off camera.
Don't get. Nick's saying
It
it's
looked-
dog water.
You know, I didn't see
Well,
anything
I mean,
about
I'm not
it.
gonna get it.
Hold up, Joe. Hold up. To be honest, I haven't seen anything so far, and I still haven't played the Avengers game that I said I was gonna get. But I heard the Avengers game, to most people, not all people, was kind of a letdown. I haven't played it yet. I'm wondering, is this the same track that the Guardians may be taking? Is this gonna be
There are
another
2 different
Avengers
styles
game?
of games. The Avengers game is trying to be Destiny, and it doesn't work because the Destiny components of it aren't there. The main story of it is actually really good, but the end game, supposed to be running around grabbing loot, isn't there. I imagine it'll probably be there by the end of year 2, maybe 3 if we're lucky. They have really good story components. Everybody loves the story components that they had with Kate Bishop, that they had with Hawkeye. We're hoping the Black Panther expansion in August is really good. I haven't played the 2 expansions yet. I'm going to save those till Black Panther comes out to play. The Guardians of the Galaxy game is entirely solo. You are only playing as one character. You control the rest through
He looks like Jake Paul.
combat mechanics. Okay, he looks like Star-Lord from the comics.
Is our character not a
Ronnie, your mic said kaput. Did you see that face? That's a classic Ronnie face too.
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Can't see
Is it
Oh,
better?
we can't see you. Yes, you.
Is it? Are you not playing as a canon character in the Guardians show?
Huh? What do you mean?
You guys said the player character. Are we not playing as a specific Guardian?
You're playing as Star-Lord. Nick was talking about that Star-Lord looks like Jake
alright,
Paul.
Alright.
And I was like,
Got it.
well, Star-Lord in the comics is just a blonde-looking dude. So anybody is gonna...
I'll play it once we get to play as
That's
Rocket.
kind of like a normal thing.
Okay, well, you can control Rocket through your use of the left trigger and the A, B, and Y buttons.
Oh, okay, nice.
It's combo.
the
It's cool. There are
controller
actual
settings.
choices that you make that will affect the story. There's dialogue options.
This
It's-
sounds
sounds
like
pretty cool.
Ratchet and this sounds like a Ratchet and Clank mixed with a Telltale series.
Yeah, I can see that. That's actually probably a really good comparison. Comes out October 26th this year, so I'm excited for it. We'll see if it gets hype enough that everybody else on the podcast hops on the train and enjoys, and maybe we have a little spoiler
I feel
discussion.
like that's directed
The
at me.
better thing is
I don't appreciate
You'll end
it.
up playing it. Why
I
are
know,
you?
But you said enjoy hype for it, and I feel like that's directed at me.
That was directed at the other two.
Everybody knows the better.
You
thing
get
that was
victim to video
revealed
game
was
hype regardless.
For the Wild 2.
That's why I thought it was directed at me.
Shit looks good.
Okay.
Oh my
Do we see the new Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings with Abomination and Wong?
I
Maybe.
watched it.
What'd you think?
Joe's tongue
I
is
did
about
not know
to
it
enter
came
that-
out.
my-
Okay, well, Owen,
I
there's a new
watched
trailer.
it.
Do what you did last time. Go
I
watch it.
watched it. Abomination looks very fishy, like literally.
This is
do
the
we
comic
think that's
version, though.
Wong?
What'd you say?
Yeah, I know. It's Wong, right? He's fighting Wong.
It
right?
looks like
It
Wong. There's no...
look-
Wong was...
I heard.
Benedict
I heard that
was... whatever
Wong.
his name is.
Benedict Wong.
That's
I
what I,
heard
thought
that
it was.
Benedict Wong. I'm pretty sure I saw him. I saw photos of him being on set for Shang-Chi.
He was in
So-
Australia at the same time, so it makes sense that he was there. And who
Yeah.
knows? I think there's probably one or two more
I think it's
characters
cool.
that are gonna pop up.
I think it's cool. Okay, the one thing I thought about when I watched the trailer, maybe you can fix me if I'm remembering this
I'm
wrong.
not
from
gonna
the
fix
comics,
you.
but
You're
I thought
perfect
that-
just the way you are.
I thought that the rings aren't they supposed to be literal rings that go on your fingers?
Yeah, they changed at least.
Is it? It's like this. These are like armband rings, right?
Yes,
That's what we're working with
they
here?
they're more bracelets than rings. They changed
Yeah.
that because in the comics, those it's another MacGuffin that's supposed to be Infinity Gauntlet level of power. So they changed the power dynamic to make it.
We power scaled it.
They
Yeah.
power scaled it down. They changed the design so it's not just some
I
Asian
didn't think
dude with
in the
10 rings.
comics. I don't think in the comics the 10 like they're strong as hell, but I don't think they're Infinity Stone esque.
I think they can
level.
be depending on who's using them
Who's writing?
and who's
Okay.
who's writing them. So who's writing the story. So
That's
it's
fair.
just
That's fair.
it all depends on who's putting the most
And it's also
scale on a
visually,
random thing.
It's quite literally just a rainbow colored.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
It's just a
so
bunch of
it's
rainbow
like-
colors that are rings.
So it makes more sense to
Get
put
the
them on the arms and do the kind of
uniform
shockwave.
color type stuff.
So
Interesting. I
I don't
liked
know.
it. I liked one thing I liked besides the Abomination and Wong thing. I liked how little they gave us.
Same.
You see the rings, I guess. That's really it. Just a bunch of cool little action shots. Some character like small little speak moments. And knowing Marvel, they could be bullshitting us with something in the trailer just so that we get a little bit of a surprise in there somewhere. So
Yeah.
aside from the Abomination Wong thing, I think they did a good job at not showing too much. But yeah.
yeah, for me that trailer is them kind of just reminding you and be like, yo, this movie's coming out in 3 months. Just remember it's still coming. It's pretty hype.
Looks
It's gonna be
good.
cool and
Yeah,
that's
it comes
what
out
about
in
it.
September, right?
Yep, September 11th, 16th, something like that. I don't know.
Ooh, that's,
It was cool.
It's gonna
It's
be a nice weekend.
type time. I'm excited for it. Let's
You're-
talk No Way Home to close out podcast.
No Way Home. Did you see those set pieces, Joe?
The set pieces for No Way Home? How did I see
Yeah.
set pieces, huh? What are you talking about?
No, I'm playing. I'm just making bullshit up.
Okay. Well, while
Are you
you're
talking
making,
about the trailer?
yes, we're gonna remind the audience. This is the last time we podcasted, we talked about this. We're gonna remind our audience.
Well,
again
Nick has
one more
already
time.
failed his prediction.
Yes, and Owen is about ready to lose it as well.
He's on the verge of it.
So
Yeah.
for
Me
for
and
those,
Joey are
Within
sitting
the
real
next
pretty right now.
hour and a half.
yes,
I'm sitting real pretty right now.
yeah, Ronnie's actually probably sitting real pretty. So for those who don't remember, in the episode 16 of the Joey Plays Games podcast, we predicted of when the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer was going to come out. We podcasted that on either the 17th or the 18th, maybe even the 19th, because Nicholas may have just been that stupid, to be honest.
It was
And we
definitely
picked trailer
before
dates.
that.
Nick went with June 19th, and obviously, as today's June 27th, he failed that. Owen picked June 25th. But today is June 27th. He hasn't failed it quite yet because Ronnie is June 29th. So today is the last day for Owen and Ronnie to split their points. After today, it is closer to Ronnie than it is Owen, and Owen will lose the trailer prediction. Ronnie picked the 29th. I picked July 8th, which is the Thursday before Black Widow. But the interesting thing is, Ronnie may be onto something. The 29th is 2 days away from today. And according to some internet sleuths, Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire are all going to be in New York City this week. And there was a fan picture that was taken with Tobey Maguire on the side of the street. What are you? You're just scrolling Twitter. You are just this bored.
Dude,
If you're just this bored,
think
go
about
sit in
how
the kitchen for a
creepy that
second,
is, though.
because your lack of energy right now about one of the most interesting movies that is probably going to come out this year is startling.
dude,
See, I've dismissed him.
Like,
Hey!
Get out of here.
person just
Oh!
found out all three of them are gonna be in New York, dude. What the fuck?
So
Hey, that woke him up, Joe. That woke him up. No, I'm kidding.
it did. It definitely woke him up. You just got to give him a little tap on the ass. It wakes him right up. But yeah, there was a fan interaction with Tobey Maguire on the streets of New York. The fan walks up, asks him about Spider-Man No Way Home, and Tobey kind of looks at him and goes, "I can't tell you anything," and then just gives him the cheeky smile, and they take a picture and go on about their
And
day.
then he gives him a cheeky little Spider-Man 3 dance down the street.
I saw that before we started posting. There was behind the scenes.
I didn't see that.
Well, it was just a behind the scenes set of when they actually filmed it from across the street as Toby's doing the dumb dance. But it's looking very possible that either on Tuesday or Thursday this week, Ronnie could be right in we are getting a Spider-Man No Way Home trailer setting up the December release date. We are getting right into the time where the hype train for that movie is going to get rolling. And it just depends on how long they wait to talk about the Spider-Verse. But if all three people are in the same place at the same time, it would make a lot of sense. So if Ronnie is correct about the 29th, he is dead on. All bragging right points go to him. If he is Thursday, he is still ahead of me. The in-between point between he and I before I take all points, bragging points, and win the competition outright is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So
Wait, like
4
July
days. July 4th. July 4th
Oh,
would
look
be
at that. How beautiful is that?
the day, the split day.
And if you win a Bud Light. Yeah.
I win absolutely nothing,
Yay.
Owen. I
Just
win
one-
just bragging right
just
points
one
that I
single.
predicted a movie trailer
Joe, if you
a
win,
month before it's released.
if you win, I'll buy you a popcorn at the theater when we will watch it. And if I win, you can buy me a popcorn at the theater.
That sounds like a plan. I'm really liking this bet right now, just popcorn. I'm here for it.
I will mail you, Joey, a can of Bud Light.
Oh, and I'm not 21. I'm
win,
not legally allowed to
you get it
drink
right.
that.
By December, you will.
By December, I will be. But there's no need to talk about it right now. I want to thank.
Until then.
I'm not
Specifically
saving a
mail.
can of, but I'm not saving a can of Bud Light. It's not gonna last. It'd be gross.
Yeah, no, I was gonna mail it in December.
Okay, Owen, you are all over the place right now.
That way.
The wine is kicking in. It's time for Owen to go to bed. Nicholas is gone.
Really isn't.
Bad.
No, I know, Owen. It's just a joke. I know. You're probably pretty fine. Yeah, Owen barely
You got
drank
like
it.
2 sips.
I was assuming he drank more before he joined the podcast, but it's not a good assumption to make. It doesn't make a difference. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this week's episode 17 of the Joey Plays Games podcast. We will hopefully be back again in 2 days' time to discuss Loki episode 4. I want to thank my co-hosts.
Usually, episode 4 is when everything like explodes in all these Marvel shows. So hopefully,
Yeah, we're looking forward.
Hopefully
We're
we get
we're
that
looking
soon.
forward to a really big episode 4.
Hopefully we're into a eventful next episode.
Yes. So our plan is to shoot it Wednesday night following the podcast. I will adjust my schedule accordingly. We will try to do it at a reasonable hour, considering Nicholas has work the next day. But we'll see if Nicholas has to not attend the podcast recording. I will make sure to have his thoughts and present his thoughts as eloquently as humanly possible. Nicholas, do you want to stick your head in here and say goodbye to the camera, or do you not care?
he's back.
I'm tired. Sorry.
It's fine. We know you're a big lovable creature that needs its sleep and plenty of it. All right, thank you guys so very much for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment your thoughts down below on Loki episode 2 and 3, where you're at with the series, what you're looking forward to. If you think the Shang-Chi trailer was awesome and you want to see more of that movie, if you're hyped for the Guardians of the Galaxy game coming out this October, and if you think Ronnie or I are going to be right about this Spider-Man trailer, or you think we're just wrong and it's going to come out a day before the movie, let us know down in the comments down below. We appreciate you all, whoever is watching. We're going to be trying to pick up the YouTube vibes now that my summer class is over. We're going to be trying to do a little bit of gaming, a little bit of news content at the nighttime. We're going to be trying to see if we can just little 5-10 minute videos out of the night, but we'll see. I say all these things all the time. We'll see what happens. But thank you again. One last time. Subscribe, turn noties on, and peace. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Peace.